Chapter 16, Gertrudis. Today has been surprisingly fun. We are at the springs, which I had been hoping we'd come sooner. We buy some micheladas and tortas at a stand located close to the pool. For the first time in a while, we are actually having fun. We swim for as long as we wished for. According to my mom, the trees are supposedly enchanted, forbidding people from knowing the real number, a dumb little myth in my opinion, but I still give it a try. After I lose where I began counting, I decide to not try it a third time. Not because it's actually bewitched, but because it feels like a silly game not worth playing. I lay on my back, trying not to use my brain. "I'm not that bad, you see," Michael had said to Samantha and I when Gustavo dropped us at the start of the day. Most of our conversations are very superficial, which I don't mind because I don't want to be drained mentally like yesterday at Martin's house. Gustavo did not stay today either despite Michael offering him a beer. "I'd rather do something else. I don't have time for this," he answered. "Okay? I bet you do," was my first thought. Then after he left, I realized how stupid I was to think that. Even I don't want to spend time with myself sometimes. Plus the three of us are so boring and petty. There is nothing professional about this whole project as Michael would want to label it. Again, I don't mind it that much because it feels like home. Like a normal, happy family pretending there is nothing wrong going on. A double-edged sword, but what can I do? It is what it is. We talk some about how the whole article is turning out. Michael is apparently almost done with it. We take some pictures of the giant old trees over the natural springs to accompany the article. At the pool, I talk to a guy and his family who apparently drove about an hour for a picnic day. There is only a small patch of life around the springs, and everything else is in desperate need of rain. It makes perfect sense why they would consider this a tiny paradise. There are around 20 people in total, including kids. Not bad for an early Wednesday morning. With a clear mind, I'm able to figure out how to look at the calendar on my phone. Something that sounded difficult for some dumb reason. We've been here for almost a week and a half. My favorite part is when I go on a walk by myself, jumping around the awiwadi's root knees that protrude from the ground. I go to the spring where I saw the baby turtles in my dream. I don't get lucky to find one, only in my dreams, I guess. I have better memory retention than I thought I had, considering the last time I saw this place I was 6 years old. I managed to recreate it almost identical in my dream, if not completely identical. Later on, I lay on the grass. There is no cell reception all around town, which turns out to be a blessing in disguise. The lack of extra stimulation makes the day so much better. I have no option but to take in what is physically present, relaxing while feeling the grass poke the back of my arms. Feeling the clouds cast their shadow over me, covering the burning sun as I close my eyes. Hearing the breeze kiss the trees, making the relaxing whistles of nature. Inhaling deeply, and wondering how the body gets things done without asking for much, all in autopilot mode. How it manages to absorb what it needs, and filter out the waste without our knowledge. Our bodies work so hard and we take it for granted, never thanking it for all it does, for keeping us alive. Too many times I focus on what the world thinks of me, forgetting that what matters the most is not what others think, but what I think about what I have accomplished, even if that's nothing. All that matters is what I think of it. Although my opinions are formed by everyone around, I can choose what to care for. It's ironic how forgetting the opinions that say we don't matter makes one feel like we indeed matter. I take another deep breath while closing my eyes, and I feel alive. And that's enough. I smile. Too fast it's over, and we are anxiously waiting for Gustavo. It is already past 5 and he is not here yet. I know he's only been the driver for 1 week, but he's been punctual every time. It is worrisome that he's almost 40 minutes late. We have no option but to wait because we have no cell phone reception. To make matters worse, the sky is filling up with reddish clouds that remind me of an article I read once about rain that contained human DNA and alien DNA. I think it was red rain. Unless that was an urban legend, it sounds crazy, so most likely. Beginning of translation. "Your buddy is waiting up the hill," says a man on an electric scooter coming down the main road. "It's a little black sedan, isn't it?" "Yeah, he's in a black car," I say. He stops abruptly in front of us. "I've seen him. He always parks right here, but he's up there now. I just passed him, right before the turn, right under the big fig tree." "Oh, okay, thanks." "Yup. He's smoking his cigarette," the man says as he picks up his feet and continues on his way, sitting on the mount that looks too small for his size. End of translation. "He says that Gustavo is up the road." "He said that?" asks Michael. "Yeah. Maybe it's someone else." "You think?" I say. "We could always go check, We don't lose anything. Samantha is as emotionless as always and does not engage with us. I guess we could, he finally says, a little doubtful. I notice his lack of cooperation and I say, I can go alone, I'll let you know. No, we'll all go. I lead the 5-minute walk because Michael and Samantha are really taking their time dragging the suitcase. Indeed, once we go past the small curve, Gustavo is smoking a cigarette, leaning against the driver's side door, under a huge tree that looks like a giant green mushroom from far away. When he sees us, he drops his cigarette on the ground and steps on it. He opens his door and waits for us, looking at his phone, leaning against the car. Michael, all of a sudden, is in a hurry and passes me as we get close enough for Gustavo to hear us. Did the car break down? He shouts. Is that what happened? Beginning of translation. Yeah, it doesn't want to turn on, Gustavo says nervously. He understands English apparently. I guess that's what happens when you interact with someone who does not value communication. How unlucky of us. We'll see what we can do, Michael says disappointedly. I know a little about cars. Maybe I can help, I say. Don't you say, says Michael, a little surprised. I'll ask him what's wrong. I tell Michael before turning to Gustavo. What's wrong with it? The problem is, as I said, it doesn't turn on. Okay, let me see, open the trunk. No, not the trunk, I say pensively. Open the hood. What's hood in Spanish? I ask as Gustavo stares blankly at me. End of translation. So you do know English or what's happening? I turn to Michael and Samantha who stop having a whispering conversation. You know what? It's okay, Michael says when he turns to me. Don't worry about the car. We'll have someone look at it. But I can check it really quick, it's no big deal. No, it's fine, Michael says annoyedly. We'll go back to the corner store and ask for a phone. Okay. I surrender, noticing his change of tone. I guess he's allowed to not trust me, but I might very easily save us some time. He must really love wasting time. Why not even give me the opportunity? What if it's only a loose lug in the battery terminals? Anyway, I guess I'm not trustworthy. Once again, I'm reminded I'm here to obey orders. We end up going back to the store, and the cashier lets us use her landline phone to call a mechanic that lives in town. Michael is irrationally non-irritated unlike most of the time. The sky is full of the red clouds and the wind is picking up as if a storm is approaching. Maybe the color of the clouds has to do with the angle of the sun rays hitting the clouds. Or the temperature of the clouds and the air below. Or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't know why clouds do what they do. It takes about 2 hours for Juan, a chubbier version of myself, to come check the car. He's probably around 40 years old. He's wearing a white shirt spotted with black oil, and jeans that are as oily. He is sporting a mustache with no beard.
Ya está listo. Lo único que hice fue desconectar la pila y conectarla para atrás, pero creo no tenía nada.
He says as he is getting out of the car after cranking the ignition. There might not have been a problem at all. There is no way of knowing for sure because he did not even crank the engine before disconnecting and reconnecting the battery. It took him about 5 minutes to do that, and we wasted about 3 hours waiting for him to arrive. I sigh at how simple the solution was. Michael hands Juan the 150 pesos that he asked for, and we get in the car to go. The night looks darker with the sun hiding behind the now purple clouds. It is close to 9 and the sun is probably setting in already. Well, our evening is ruined now. I wonder if we would get paid for this. I doubt it considering we did nothing all day. Crazy how I can feel grateful and the complete opposite on the same day. The only difference is I am not laying down on the grass anymore. Would this be considered entitlement? Who cares at this point? Why does it always have to happen like this? We go past the welcome sign, and very quickly start going downhill to reach the river. With the dark sky, it is very reminiscent of the day that I was supposedly sleeping. Michael looks back at me, and I swear he had a red twinkle in his left eye before he turned away. Through the corner of my eye, I see Samantha look at me and quickly turn away when I turn to face her. I feel a rush of adrenaline travel through my veins. I also feel a sense of déjà vu. I can almost swear Gustavo was looking at me through the rearview mirror and turned to the road half a second later when our eyes met. I mean, if that first night was a dream, this can't be happening. Where? I say, as my voice cracks. I clear my throat nervously. Where are you guys eating later? What's that? Says Michael. Where are we eating? I want to eat with you guys. We haven't talked about it. What sounds good to you? Anything really, I say. Do not worry about it. We can talk once we get to the hotel, Samantha interjects. Okay, I say nervously. All of a sudden, the clouds start clearing away rapidly, leaving the trees with a faint shadow. There is a full moon on the horizon reflecting the sun rays back to us, making everything very clear despite the sun having just disappeared behind the mountains on our backs. Michael shivers as soon as the big moon appears. He takes a deep breath that turns into a cough. "Those jalapenos really did a number on me," he says and coughs more. No one answers, and I'm getting hyper-aware of what is happening around me. I put my hands over my knees, and I start pinching as hard as I can, right at the beginning of my thighs. Gustavo slows down as he approaches the bridge, and everything looks familiar. It wasn't a dream. My temples tense up. I pinch my inner knee harder than I should, to make sure I am awake. "What is that?" Gustavo asks in the fakest acting I have seen since elementary school as he abruptly comes to a full stop right after the bridge. I don't know about theater, but I know when it's not good acting. A mountain of dirt has appeared on the road, right in front of the car. I'm still clenching as hard as I can as I'm trying to figure out my next step or wake up from this stupid dream. This can't be happening. Michael turns to me and his eyes are as red as the night Samantha and I were spying on him. I get startled, and when I look at Samantha, she's as calm as can be with only her silhouette being visible inside the car. I open my car door and get out. So does everyone else. I'm no deer. I can't be a deer, even if it is a dream. With the moonlight on full display right above the pile of dirt, I see the most grotesque and horrifying nightmare I have ever witnessed. I slap myself this time instead of pinching, but I still don't wake up. Michael, while losing his balance, slowly walks to the front of the car, where the headlights illuminate his body. His back starts arching, and my eyes widen with fear. He jerks and lets out the roughest cough only an old sick man could ever make, almost like a growl. His backbone gets taller and bonier. He's turning into a monster. Samantha slams her door closed, and she walks towards the trunk of the car. I start backing away from Michael, who has become a full-fledged hairy beast with a long snout, hunched back and lanky hind legs. Gustavo sits calmly inside of the car, looking at me, lighting up another cigarette. The same hooded figures from before appear in the path behind the car, about 6 of them. I can't be a deer in headlights this time. I'm all alone. I have to do more than wait for help like a damsel in distress. I run towards the pile of dirt to climb it, when I feel someone grab my left arm. At the same time, Samantha yanks my other arm as hard as humanly possible, making my wrist and shoulder crack. The stranger lets go of my left arm and extends one arm straight towards Samantha. A beam of dim blue light passes 1 inch in front of my nose, hitting Samantha right in the forehead, sending her flying all the way across the ditch behind the car. Her wig goes flying even farther behind into the bushes. "Don't worry. That's no friend of yours. Hold my hand," a woman's voice says under the shawl before making swishing motions with her hand that send a pinkish, sparkly dust towards the ground, turning her feet into giant ostrich feet. She holds my arm again. She leaps across the ditch, and starts running along the path by the river, opposite of everyone else. We are running so fast, it feels like we are flying. I feel needles hit my face every once in a while, only to realize it is little insects in the way, piercing into my skin because of the speed we are traveling at. I am mostly being dragged by the woman, but whatever magic she has keeps my feet from trampling one another. The moon is one of the biggest ones I've seen in a while. After about 5 minutes, I hear a wolf's howl kill the quietness of the evening. The woman slows down when we reach a field with only dirt and diverts diagonally, away from the river. I hear her heavy feet trot under the moonlight. By this point, I'm not even trying to run. I have realized I'm floating, and she's dragging me through the air. I do not ask any questions. There is no reason for me to trust this woman other than how calmed and relaxed I'm feeling now compared to 20 minutes ago when we were going down the bridge. For some reason, my dream about the woman who offered Joel an IT comes to mind. "Know what trust is and know when it is okay to practice it," she had said before I woke up. As sketchy as someone with giant chicken legs can be, I have a feeling I should trust her more than Michael or Samantha. We stop at a 1-foot-high pile of dirt, with ants around it. A line of little soldiers carrying leaves forms in the center. There is nothing but white dirt all around. These leafcutter ants must be traveling far to get those greens. "Catenacci!" the woman exclaims after coming to a full stop and letting go of my hand. 2 huge gates slowly start revealing out of thin air, behind the ant's house, followed by yellow sparkly dust. "Hurry, get in," she continues, putting her hand on my back, pushing me inside. "Catenacci!" she says again, and the doors close with the same creak as when it opened. She does the same swishing movement with her hands, and her ostrich feet disappear, leaving her regular ones. We are in an enclosed area with stones stacked up to form a wall of about 10 feet in height, covered in green moss. The property is about 1 rectangular acre, filled with different types of trees and plants. There is one single light post in the middle of the pathway that leads to the other side of the property. Another light is located above the entrance gate. A last light is located in the tallest point of the triangular red clay roof of the house at the opposite side of the gate. The lights shower the property with an amber haze. The woman lets her shawl down and sighs. This is when I notice she is the same woman we saw yesterday at the corn mill. The one Michael called a nerd for staring at us. She looks so familiar, but I have no idea where I have seen her face. The light is not very strong, but I can see she has her hair in a single braid. Let's go inside. It's getting chilly. I'll make some tea, it's good for the nerves, she says and winks at me, and smiles before starting to walk towards the house. My jaw drops from shock. That's right. That's where I've seen that face, in my recurrent dream. And no, this is not a dream, she says, turning back to my paralyzed reaction. Now hurry, because we need to move fast if you want to save your friend. What do you mean? I ask, trying to accept reality. I'll explain inside. There is a lot to catch you up with. Okay, I say, astonished. I walk along the circular concrete slabs that make up the path, a little more relaxed after having absorbed who she is. Maybe it was the loose hair she had yesterday what made it harder to recognize. This does not feel like a dream, but I feel like it should be. A werewolf? Hooded figures? Samantha flying through the air? A witch with chicken legs? Too many questions I need answered. I get startled by the noise of crunching leaves to my left. I turn to see a line of clay pots placed on a rock table. I can almost swear I heard whispering, but those pots of flowers are all I see. There is no room for anyone to hide behind the table. When we reach the house, more whispers originate from the same location. The woman opens the door. Gertrudis? Is it the same name? Oh my, what is happening? This is crazy. We go inside, and Gertrudis closes the door. There is smoke building up in the ceiling. The red tiles that make up the ceiling are tainted with black soot, especially right above the commode, where a woman is standing behind, smiling. She has a black shirt on, and a dark green long skirt on top of purple sweatpants. A purple shawl is covering her head, wrapped around in many folds, leaving her forehead visible. Her face has a nice amount of wrinkles, and she has a big mole the color of her skin on the side of her chin. She is most likely in her early 70s. The commode in front of her is a structure about the size of a large table but half as short, made of either clay or concrete, I can't tell. It looks like an original pizza oven, but with the top replaced with a clay commode. 2 logs burn underneath. In the hollow space under the table, there are big logs and little skinny sticks in storage. There are 2 big tortillas cooking on the commode, taking the whole surface. On the side, there is the metal tortilla press and 2 plastic buckets. A blue one containing cloudy whitish water, and an orange one containing a small amount of corn dough. Beginning of translation. You've arrived? The woman says, smiling, letting out a welcoming laugh. She starts washing her hands in the blue bucket. Yes, we just got here, says Gertrudis and proceeds to struggle to get her collar off, but once she manages to do so, she continues. There it is, yes, we just got here. Are you guys hungry? The tortillas are freshly made. I saved half for the evening. Later, make us a chamomile tea, please. Okay, coming right up, she says, smiling. This is Alejandro, Gertrudis says to the other woman before turning to me. She's my sister Florencia. Hello? She says with a chuckle and a smile. Gertrudis lifts up her hand in front of me, with the collar dangling off her fingers. It's made of turquoise pebbles attached with a string. I call it the translator. She puts the collar on, holding the back with one hand. I call it the translator. Clever, right? Wait, is it? What is it exactly? This necklace helps me understand and speak a language. English in this case. Anyone who wears it for that matter, not just me. Can I see? I ask, and she hands the collar to me. I put it around my neck. Hello? I say, and I make a doubtful expression. I don't think I know how to use it. How would it work if you already know? She says and starts laughing. Oh yes, no? I say and startle, dropping the collar on the ground. Be careful. I had tried to say that in Spanish, but it came out in English. I had thought of speaking Spanish, but my mouth didn't move as I intended it to do. She picks it up from the ground and looks if it's damaged, then proceeds to put it on. It works! I exclaim. How does it work? End of translation. It requires someone whose language you want to speak to breathe on it for it to work. The merchants from the town nearby had struggled to understand the people from this town after Zapotec declined, so I made a few of these necklaces. I won't go into the technicality of it, but I am the one who invented it. It basically carries a copy of someone else's speech. Your wolfman friend for this one, actually. She adjusts the collar. It still works. Calm down, Charlotte, I think to myself, then I say. That's good. Do you know about entitlement? She asks calmly. Yes, I say, getting a little red. No one is immune to it, remember that, she says, quickly changing the conversation. We need to get your friend. Why did she say that? I'm good at reading body language, and you actually said that out loud. Wait, no, I did not. I say, doubting myself. You did it earlier as well when you said you had seen my face in your dream. No, you're lying. I frown. Did I really do that? I stare at the fire and my ears start to get very hot, then turn to Gertrudis again. Which part did I say out loud? Your friend, she says, ignoring my question. We need to find out where she is. Which friend? The one that was about to drag you by the river. Huh! Has she been acting weird? I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you saying we'll go back to the same place we just left? Okay, we have to start from 00. That girl we left on the ground is not your friend. She was replaced by a head switcher. Your friend has to be kept alive somewhere for her image to be used. What is a head switcher? Hey caramba, she says, surprised. I thought this was gonna be easier. I'm sorry, I'm only understanding half of what you're saying. That's a person who can transform into someone else by putting someone else's head on their bodies. We have to figure out where her body is located if we want to find her before they realize she is of no use to them anymore. And how are we gonna do that? Well, that's what I have been trying to do since we got here. She turns to the burning fire, where Florencia has a sooty teapot on top of the comal, steaming already. Gertrudis takes one of the 2 burning logs out from under the comal, and walks to a lonely wood cupboard in the kitchen. It has 3 glass doors on the upper half, containing a set of china and several other glass containers. 3 rows of drawers are on the lower half. Gertrudis opens the top, right corner drawer and gets out a clear plastic bag, which contains black powder. She walks back to the log and takes her collar off before untying the knot at the end of the plastic bag. Beginning of translation. Show me where she is, she says before throwing a sprinkle of powder on the charred part of the burning log. The fire ignites angrily with green flames as a small explosion. It quickly turns back to red. Gertrudis turns to me. What is the girl's name? Samantha, I answer. She turns back to the fire again, and takes another scoop of powder. Show me where Samantha is. She throws more fuel to the fire, but this time the powder smoothly changes to a green flame, burning higher than before. In the center of the flame, there is a small human silhouette floating. This is Samantha, Gertrudis says, pointing at the figure. I think she's in the water, but in which water? End of translation. She takes a small stick from under the comal bed and pokes the fire, making the miniature floating Samantha scramble away. She puts her turquoise collar back on as the green flame is now forming a new image. In the middle of the green flame, Samantha appears smaller, and a white dot twice as big as her is by her side. 3 little skeletal figures swim around Samantha like angry sharks around a school of fish. Aha! Gertrudis says, lifting the now burning stick from the fire. That's Samantha, and that's the reflection of the moon. She is in a cenote. We've only got one of those close by. What's a cenote? An underground lake. And what are those things swimming around her? I hope you know how to swim because those things are worse than leeches. Me? I say, confused. I know how to not drown. Well, you better learn fast how to do it well because you must go in for her. I don't know about that, I say hesitantly. Does any of us look like we can manage such a task? Gertrudis says, referring to Florencia and herself. Those things are harmless. No, I'm lying. I'm gonna be honest. These creatures try to take control of your body, but they are slow, they have no meat left in them. You shall not stay in for too long. But I am not any better than the 2 of you. What are you talking about? You look leafy. Leafy? What do you mean leafy? She takes her collar off. Frondoso, she says, and then puts it back on. Flourishing? I start blushing, not knowing how to answer, not even knowing what she really means. I start walking towards the door. Okay, I'll do the swimming. How do we get to her? Gertrudis starts laughing as she walks to her cupboard to put away her powder. It was easier than I thought. Do you have another set of chicken legs? Or duck legs, maybe? I say, apprehensively. That would help a lot with swimming. It's not chicken legs, it's turkey legs, but no, I do not have any extra. Aren't they the same thing? I ask. No, they're not. Besides, not everyone can grow them. Mine were a gift from my grandfather, and you can't grow any type of feet you want. It's always turkey legs.
El té. ¿No se lo van a tomar?
Florencia says when Gertrudis opens the door. Ah, sí, Gertrudis says, and I chug the tea in seconds. I have a lot of questions, but Gertrudis promised to answer them after we get back with Samantha. We don't have a lot of time. She says that this underground lake was used by one of the older civilizations. The water of this cenote is cursed by all the souls that were taken before their due time. Apparently, one of the favorite ways of ridding people was by tying hands and feet before throwing them alive through the opening at the top. The result was always the same, of course, and somehow that's where I'm supposed to be submerging my body in a broth of ancient decaying matter with skeletal soul eaters. No, not soul eaters. Body snatchers? Either way is not a good way to go. Would Gertrudis know if my body has been taken over by one of those souls? Is there a reversal to that? Would my soul stay in the cenote? Inside one of those skeletons? I shiver at the thought of my soul spending the rest of eternity swimming in an underground lake, hoping for a fresh body to decide to jump in for me to take control of it. Michael is a werewolf apparently, and when did Gertrudis even get a copy of his speech? So, I'm not really paranoid. Well, maybe a little, but I was right. I was right all along. I was right to not trust Samantha. The newer Samantha, I should say. That's why she felt like a completely different person. Not cheerful. Always obeying Michael. Not paranoid like usual. I guess we have that in common. How does head switching even work? Replacing someone's head to pass as them. Is there blood involved? Clean surgical types of cuts? Or like a hatchet kind of a cut with a lot of blood splattered everywhere? Hopefully not. We would not be on our way to get her if that were the case. Is she headless? I think she had her head in the fire. A head switcher. It sounds kind of funny actually. As Gertrudis drags me by the hand as fast as a racing horse on our way to the cenote, I sense the temperature drop. It's not cold, but it feels nice when it hits my underarms. It was warm in the house because of the cooking Florencia had going on. I feel a sense of calmness despite the circumstances I am in. It should be the opposite. I should be even more fearful, but somehow that is not the case. I might feel calm for realizing I was right to be paranoid the whole time. Maybe that's the sixth sense everyone talks about. The disconnect between two parts of the brain. One part senses danger, but doesn't know how to communicate it with the conscious. The release of pressure once the connection is made might be what I am feeling. What is happening? I let out a chuckle and start smiling when Gertrudis slows down as we approach a patch of woods. What in the world is happening? This is definitely not a dream. I don't think it ever was.